1, 2, 3. It's a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium. Oh, I had avocado toast. Bryan had some chips on the Bennettarium. Oh boy, it's the Bennettarium. And Bunny's not here.
Oh boy,
That was I haven't sung in a week because
you sound great.
I've been sick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
How was the? You have like a quarantine room? Like we just like.
Yeah, it's my entire apartment.
Am I in it? Am I in your
No.
quarantine right now?
Luckily, it's been over a week, so
Yeah.
I doubt he's contagious
Well,
anymore.
you
haven't
open up.
gotten
All the
sick.
germs have died. I've been around you a lot because I've had to work here and I'm not sick.
She's got like the anti.
No, the windows were open
anti-
yesterday. Everyone was
Okay,
here.
good.
Sam, Bunny. We were signing vinyls and stuff.
Oh
I like how you specifically know like yesterday. Like no, I opened them yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
good.
After a week,
Just checking.
we aired it out.
But yeah, it hasn't been fun because I can't exercise when you're sick.
No, you can't do anything when you're sick.
And so now I just feel fat, and I feel like my muscles
atrophied.
don't work. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like food is just like bringing back strength.
Mhm.
yeah.
And then we have a show. It's like the break in between Disney was just me being sick. So
Yeah. It's like in your head you're like, oh, I'm gonna get some time off, but like being sick it's just not. It's not
Yeah.
fun. Like if you could fake being sick, that could be fun. I guess. Like,
I haven't played many video games either because it's like when you feel sick enough, you're like you can't even like focus.
You have
So.
to be in the right mindset.
do you like fake being sick by yourself now that you're like you don't have to like fool your parents? Be like, oh, you like put the thermometer under the water, like, oh, I'm so sick right now, Chelsea. Oh, I got a headache.
But see, the difference is if I don't do work, then I just suffer
Yeah.
directly.
Should we introduce ourselves? We usually do that every podcast. I
Okay.
don't know if you care.
My name's David Michael Bennett, and I play the Spine.
My name is Chelsea Penyak, and I am a Walter worker with Steam Powered Giraffe.
My name's Camille Penyak, and I am also a Walter worker with Steam Powered Giraffe.
My name is Bryan Barberin, and I play Zero.
I guess we can get right into the nitty gritty. And
Yeah,
we can
welcome
start.
everyone. What episode is this?
35.
Wow. We started about a year ago. October was our first one.
I think last one was about a year, the year-versary.
Year-versary, yeah.
Happy anniversary.
So yeah, what do we want to talk about
Yes.
first?
Well, we just our last show was the Downtown Disney thing, right? Oh no, we
Yeah.
want to talk about avocado toast.
Oh yeah, of
I
course.
mean, let's get the
Okay.
important stuff out of
How
the way.
was the avocado toast? Was it delicious?
It was good, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, was the toast made of avocado, or did you have avocado upon
I
toast?
don't know what kind of.
So this avocado toast is really good because I don't know what the bread technically is called, but it has big chunks of garlic cloves in it.
You know,
Like in the bread.
Our podcast could just be us talking about various avocado toasts.
Uh-huh.
And-
Oh,
That's an
that-
interesting concept, though. Like, what if someone
like made
actually
avocado
made
toast.
bread?
Okay,
Yeah.
there's
And a podcast
this,
talking about
There's
it.
this
Make-
coffee shop downtown called Copa Vita, and they have the best avocado toast in the world.
In the world?
They drizzle olive oil
Really?
on
She's
it.
like,
It's
yeah.
got pickled,
So-
pickled onions and fresh sprouts.
Oh, ooh.
Oh,
I like
so
these
good.
things.
So
Mine didn't
good.
have that. It was just avocado. It had tomatoes.
This
and
was
Oh,
that
how
yours?
embarrassing. Oh, yours sounds gross.
it had
Yours is
goat,
good too.
goat cheese.
Ooh.
I mean,
Yeah.
to get the good stuff, you you have to sacrifice because you have to actually go downtown, which no one wants to do.
No, that's true.
It's true,
But
everyone.
like if you're down there, then like you make it
yeah,
trip. You know,
I
it's
don't
like
have enough money
you
to
reward
own a
yourself.
house because of avocado toast.
That's like the
That's
most
the
Southern
biggest-
California thing you could possibly say.
Is that like an internet thing?
Yeah, it started because of like some article somewhere that was like millennials are ruining the like, you know, house buying market
By buying
because
avocado
yeah,
toast?
and like someone complained that like
Good.
all they do is spend their money on avocado toast, and everyone
Good.
was like, "You're right."
See, now eating it, I'm like, everyone would like avocado toast.
It's
This
the best.
this isn't a young person's
Avocado
game.
is nature's
Oh.
butter.
Well, it just started getting big, and like I've been doing it like at home forever.
Yeah. Or, like,
and now
be-
it's like they're
Just caught on in
charging
Or like
$10.
sandwiches are technically avocado toast, just with some extra stuff on it.
That's just like another like poor people food that like gets expensive. Like it's just like
Yeah.
oh, it's popular. It's like, oh, I had nothing else. I had to take this avocado and
You go to,
spread it
like-
on my toast. That's all I had left.
Yeah,
You know, and I was
right?
like, oh, that'll be $25. You're like, what?
The-
It's an avocado. You just spread it on toast.
The
That's all you
hipster
did.
coffee shops got a hold of it.
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
but it's so good.
They replaced the string cheese with goat cheese, and that's how they.
Oh,
Oh
Oh,
See,
goat
like,
cheese.
I feel like string cheese is about to be the next thing, like the next big thing. Like,
Yeah.
oh, come on in, you get string cheese. It's the best string cheese.
Strung goat cheese.
Yeah, you're like, oh, hey, what's
Oh,
up? So goat
but
cheese
like-
is like the best, number
It's
one.
so
Goat
good.
cheese
And
is
like,
the
if you're
best.
lactose intolerant, you could have goat cheese. And I'm like, how? Why are you not? Like, why are you not eating the goat cheese?
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, my friend is like very, very lactose intolerant.
We should
I'm
we should bring
mildly-
Sam on the podcast and he can speak the other
But I,
side.
I always assumed
'Cause
I was
he's a
being bad
vegan.
when I would have goat cheese.
goat
so-
cheese is
But,
the,
but
is
I mean,
business.
but he can't
Stiff.
have goat cheese.
No, I'm saying
I think, well, because
Wait, what
he's,
did you?
but he's
I
vegan
lost track
though,
of what
right?
you
No,
were
he's
saying.
vegan.
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
vegan.
lactose
He wouldn't
intolerant.
have he wouldn't
No.
have goat cheese.
yeah, that's
all
what I'm saying.
He wouldn't
Like-
have this goat cheese.
Why would you?
Like I
wouldn't
could
you
have
drink it?
cheese and like take a little lactate pill, but if I
Yeah.
drink like straight up milk or a big thing of ice cream, I'll die.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
like,
I'll just have a real bad time.
goat cheese is, oh no! What happened to Camille? Well, she drank a big glass of milk.
I mean, that's technically happened.
That's how-
You've
that's
had
how
to
Juliet
skip out
killed
on
herself
things
in,
because you're like
Romeo
at
and
home
Juliet.
dying.
Yeah.
So she wasn't
If
poisoned.
I ever want to like have like a a day where I don't want to go somewhere,
Yeah.
like someone invites me somewhere, I'll
Drink
just
some milk.
okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
it's worth.
Well, and it's
I don't
never
know
like
something that feel terrible.
it's never
wanna
like
go to that party.
It's never from birth either. Like everyone develops lactose intolerance.
Yeah.
It's like you're
I was fine. I loved ice cream. I loved cheese, and then on my 18th birthday, I had an ice cream cake.
from
Oh,
Cold
no.
Stone.
Did you eat the
It
whole
was-
thing? Is that what happened?
I ate a
And
couple
then-
slices, and it
and then
was
someone
just
punished you?
ruined
All
my
of a sudden,
birthday.
it was like
yeah,
the heavens decided that was the day.
Psycho down.
Camille's just more evolved because
Yeah.
'cause, we have the enzyme to break down milk as infants, but
Yeah.
because people in Europe would keep drinking cow's milk and stuff, our bodies kind of don't let go of that enzyme. So now we have people who just they don't make the enzyme anymore. So,
Yeah.
See, I feel like we're more evolved because we can eat cheese.
No, it's really interesting. I mean, I don't know all the like scientific facts about it, but I was reading that it's like something that is passed down in European genes mostly
Yeah,
because in
yeah.
colder climates people had to
They had to do it,
eat
yeah.
cheese and fermented foods, and in warmer climates they didn't have to rely on cheeses and stuff. So yeah,
it's not natural
Isn't
for us to
there,
drink
like,
other animals'
some
milk.
places in the world where like the majority of people are.
Yeah, I think I read that like in a lot of Asian countries, the lactose intolerance percentage of the population is higher because warmer climates.
But you know what? Almond milk ice cream's it's just as good. I would say.
Yeah, it's good. It's great.
The Ben and Jerry's, they have a lot of
I
almond
like
milk stuff.
gelato. I
It's
like,
just
but I
as
like
terrible for
sorbets
you.
and like fruit stuff. Anyways, like I'm not really a big ice cream person. I like that kind of stuff, so that's what I eat.
So we just did the downtown Disney
Yes.
show, October 31st. That's Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah.
We did 4 40-minute sets.
It was the spookiest time.
We
We played all Halloween songs.
We didn't.
Totally.
Every one of them. We played the
4
Crypto
hours.
Creep and the Crypto Creep. Creep Poor Creeps.
4 hours.
Spooky shows. You know?
How many Halloween songs can we think of?
Let's, no, we're gonna
this
podcast
is
gonna
a
get
dead
flagged.
man's party. What
Sounds too
Halloween
close
songs?
to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Dead Man's Party is the best Halloween.
That's what,
Yeah.
that's a good
No,
one.
we didn't play any Halloween songs.
Yeah, we're
we
just
just did
kidding.
our normal show. I mean, it's not like we have one show. Like we changed it up a little bit, but it's the same. We play Honeybee usually, Brass Goggles, and then we, whatever.
The old classics.
I should open.
We had 2 sets, so we were like alternating between them each set. So we technically did 2 sets, repeated them twice, and that was the whole day.
Yeah.
Boy, it was a long day.
It was. But it was
long
lots
day.
of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like overall, I feel like.
Yeah, we'll be doing it again at Downtown Disney. That's in California, in Anaheim. November 27th. That's a
Monday
Monday.
Oh.
after Thanksgiving.
That's gonna be a busy day, and then
Oh,
we're doing one December 30th,
nice, yeah.
which is
Saturday.
New Year's Eve.
Eve.
Oh, Eve.
I'm happy not to play New Year's Eve.
That'll be
But,
the first
but I know-
weekend that we do.
I know Bryan has to play New Year's Eve.
I almost got off this year. But,
No, if you said you weren't available, I bet Disney would have put us at the New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
Because so far
Yeah.
they put us on the days that
They're giving us like special like
Holidays.
holidays. Yeah, like the Thanksgiving one is like right after Thanksgiving,
cool.
and yeah, December 30th just definitely felt like they probably would have put us on the 31st if they could have.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're saving us for special occasions
That's
because
cool,
of the,
though.
Well,
the
how-
robots and stuff.
Halloween was like the one day of the year that when we walked into downtown Disney,
It was-
no one like
Yeah, no
looked
one
at us
batted an
weird.
Everyone was like, "Oh, cool, very cool.
Yeah.
Can we take a picture?" He's like, "Yeah."
It's gonna
sure."
be different for the next two.
Yeah.
And so that'll
Thanks
be
for everyone
fun.
who came out. It looked really nice, I'm sure, with all the fans
totally.
there for passerbyers to say, "Oh, these guys, they all must be interesting because there's a crowd around them."
Yeah, people stayed all night too. It's
Yeah.
kind of wild.
Yeah, we had people there for all 4 sets.
It's a nice little stage. Just saw like pictures after. The lights look great.
Totally.
We had to modify our show a little bit. We can't have projections or any of the video screens there, and there's no like curtain or anything, so you kind of just have to start the show like fast. So it's a little modified. It's not quite the same as our theater shows. Our theater shows are an hour and a half, and it's like you know.
Yeah, there's no backstage area at all. We're in the middle of the foot traffic area. So Camille and I are actually like on stage as like part of the show for the whole set.
So if you want to support us and do one of our theater shows, we have 2 of those at the end of the year. We have
coming up soon,
we have
November
one-
18th,
that's a Saturday.
Oh, that is soon.
Barstow, California.
That next weekend?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's getting close.
join us for that one. I'm
That's
looking forward to
Barstow-
that.
Yeah, the Barstow Community College Performing Arts Center.
The day.
Yeah, that's the
Coffee.
Barstow Community College.
Yeah, they have a nice performing arts center there. They wanted us. They had some students who were interested, I guess, and so the administration contacted us, and
Great.
yeah, should be a nice theater. And it's out in the middle of nowhere. So
My
if you're out in the middle of
yeah.
nowhere,
My only experience
Southern
with
California.
Barstow is like that. For me, it's always been a pit stop on the way to Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Yeah.
so if
Are
you're
we-
on your way
Sure,
to
it's
Vegas,
not-
It's not
Are
that far of a
we-
drive though. Like
are we
if
going
you're
to
in the
Vegas?
Vegas area.
Is that happening as well?
No.
Ooh.
Should we go perform in the street?
We have
in, like
performed in
downtown
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Really?
yeah, but the venues that we played were like they weren't all ages, so
Nah.
you know there were a lot of people that were like, "Oh, we wish we could have come."
Well, that's
Yeah.
whatever.
Probably not the best place to do a venue that's not all ages for
That's true.
our band. But yeah, we also will be having Michael Philip Reed joining us on stage
Ooh.
for that show.
Yeah, cool.
So you won't see that at Disney shows. I'm not trying to dissuade you. I'm just saying if you want to sit in a theater and watch the theater version of our show
Yeah.
with the Michael Reed, then
Get
that's
the,
great.
get
With
the
the
golden
Michael
tones
Reed.
of the Michael Reed.
And if you want merchandise too, the theater shows are good because we're not able to sell anything at Downtown Disney for obvious reasons.
Oh,
but
sorry,
yeah, we do autographs after the shows for the theater ones in Barstow. And the other theater show we have is December 16th, which is
Also
a
a
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
And that's in Bakersfield. That's at UC.
Bakersfield.
I think
It's
so.
the California State University Bakersfield. So I think it's CSUB is the.
the California State.
But that's not.
University.
This one's not put on by the actual administration. This one's just someone has rented the theater out for a charity event, and
Oh, okay.
and all profits go to this year. I think it's the Ronald McDonald House
Oh,
and
Yeah.
some other charity that it's on our poster. I don't remember.
So yeah, last year's Bakersfield show was our last show before Bryan
Yeah,
came on
that's
board.
right.
So
And if you want to support the band there too, you can buy merchandise in that
Yes.
one too. That doesn't go to the Ronald McDonald House, but
Bakersfield
sales
is
go.
like more north, Barstow's east of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're about. It's almost about the same
Yeah,
drive.
it's just like in 2 different directions.
At
Yeah.
least from San Diego.
Yeah.
The room where we sell merchandise in Bakersfield is a refrigerator. So look
They
forward to that.
Yeah, they can't control the air
Dress
conditioner.
Dress warm.
Well, really, it's just like a.
Yeah.
Get ready to freeze.
All right.
It'll be fun.
Like you think, oh boy, hot. That was a hot show, but
Then
no.
you walk into the little
That
room
theater's
next
always
to the
been
theater.
cold
Oh,
too.
that's the worst. Because then
Yeah.
you're like sweaty. And
Or
you're
you're
like,
doing
Oh,
sound.
yeah.
You're doing sound check and
Chills.
your hands can barely warm up.
Oh,
And you
no.
do warm up for the show, but it takes a while, and then
Yeah.
and then when you're sitting down and doing autographs and stuff, you're just like freezing.
Oh well, you all prefer the cold for a show, right?
I mean, this is either I think it's our 5th or 4th year doing Bakersfield.
yeah.
Something
I've
like
been
that.
Camille and I. Our first one was 2014, and I think you said you did one before us.
Mm.
So 2013.
1 or 2.
Yeah, that'd be like 4 or 5 years. I don't know.
And Michael Reed will be at that one too.
Yes.
Oh, cool, cool.
And we're not ready to announce any other shows for the rest of next year, but we got some planned in January and February.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Keeping it going. Anniversary show's coming up. We'll talk about that more later.
Yeah.
It's only November. Is that all talks about shows and stuff?
Yeah, I mean that's what's closing out the year. Barstow, Bakersfield, and 2 more Downtown Disney shows.
We never usually have that many shows at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's great, though.
Yeah.
No.
Good.
I'm stoked
Keeping
for it.
busy.
Uh,
Oh.
End of podcast.
Finals. Finals.
Oh, yeah.
Vinyls.
Spinals?
Sorry.
Oh, the
Spinals.
vinyl spinals.
Let's, Chelsea, I
Yeah.
know you packed one right behind the chair here. No?
Okay.
I'll
Hold on. No, I'll get it.
Okay. So we just got our shipment in for the Steam music from Steam World Heist album vinyls records. Damn it.
The old, wheelies, the donuts.
This is one that's been opened and signed, so someone will
Someone will
Someone's
get this
gonna
one.
get that one. Is it gonna be you? Are you gonna get this one?
So they know it was on the podcast.
Also, David's
okay.
touching it right now. He's got his thumbprint on it.
And Brian's licking it right now. So yeah, we have it's a simple album. We needed to do a simple one to. I'm covering Chelsea's face.
All right.
It's
The Mike Wazowski.
it was the easiest album to put on a vinyl, and Image and Form really wanted us to have one so they could have it
Yeah,
too.
of course.
And yeah, because you can only put about 44 minutes on, the biggest size.
Oh, so cool looking. Oh,
It's really cool.
It looks nice. It looks
For
nice.
anyone not watching the video right now, it's like
it's
a
blinding me.
it's like a
So it's-
transparent gold
my-
color.
So bright.
Yeah,
and
it's almost
beautiful.
orange, but it
Yeah.
looks really nice because it's transparent.
It's
and
kind of when you look at the sun, and then you look away, and then you see that ring around your eyes. That's what it is.
and apparently it sounds good too. So
Yeah, I listened to it yesterday on a record player. Only the first side because I was too lazy to get up and change it. But
these
first
will-
side sounds great.
These will be shipping out. You should be able to see your tracking numbers sometime next week.
Yeah.
Plan on Monday, the first day that we'll be shipping them out.
Awesome.
And yeah, hopefully someone will get this specific one.
Just make a little tear in the white.
And then
if-
they'll know. Then they'll know.
Here.
And Chelsea
Break
will
it in
put that
half?
in because
I
I've already
put
been
like
to the-
200 of these away today, yesterday. So
David just put a strand of his hair in there.
Yeah, probably.
Pink. You put a little chin
So yeah, we'll probably do some more vinyls in the future. They take a long time to manufacture,
They
and
look awesome.
the hardest part for us is all our albums are way longer than 44 minutes, and this one, we had to cut off like at least a minute of the album, and so there's a lot of tricks with like, oh, this song fades out way too long, so I had to go and make it fade out a lot quicker. And
Yeah, I noticed that
Yeah.
when listening yesterday.
I can't remember if it's brass goggles or electricity, but there was a pause that is just unusually long that I was like, well, that's so just like
cut that up a little
like
bit.
double time it. And I mean, it's not, you wouldn't notice it, like it's still the same song. There's nothing like removed from the album. It's just
Yeah.
like dead air is like cut out to make it all fit.
That's good though.
But for any other albums,
two.
yeah, but that's the thing is like,
Yeah,
like 2 Cent
discs.
Show would be the obvious next one to do, but or our new album, whenever that comes out, that'd be a good one to do. Yeah.
Double disc.
Or we just make sure our album isn't longer than 44 minutes.
44. That's interesting because like no one does that anymore.
I know. I mean, you used to. I mean, unless you're the Beatles or you're making to double this album, and you can have that 88 minutes. But
That's interesting though.
but not. But yeah, I guess it would be like one. It would be a record and a half.
Yeah.
But I don't know
Well,
if anyone does that.
I feel like there's a lot more records you could put out if you limit it to that amount of time. You know, it's
Yeah.
like so many people want to put out a double album, and it's like, well, that's all your songs. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I gotta write a lot more songs now. But like you have to pick and choose, then you can make it. You know, you
Yeah.
make it a little tighter. That's interesting, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't figured that one out yet. Because if you cut any songs to fit on there, and I mean, someone wouldn't be happy.
Yeah,
And you want to keep
exactly.
it intact. So,
That's true.
but if you have 2 discs and one of them's like not very full,
Yeah.
what do you go to a smaller size and then have double, and then it makes
Put some B-sides on it,
I don't know.
or like some I don't know, some.
Well, anyways,
Put some GG tracks on there.
the minute you get
Yeah.
Put some bebop tracks on there or something like that.
the minute you get 2
Yeah.
discs too, it's also way more expensive to manufacture. So
Yeah, it's
you
true.
know, and then we pass that price on to the customer.
Is that
Yeah.
wait? When you mentioned like bebop tracks, I just like I was gonna ask like, have you ever? Is that something you ever considered like releasing to Engineer-eteers or something, like all the bebop like dialogue tracks from the shows or something, or is it?
I mean, the minute we
No,
start
I-
making a Halloween
Yeah, you're right.
Halloween sound effects album, no.
I
Although Halloween.
I mean, if you want to
Does
listen,
sound pretty fun.
some of that stuff is on the Engineer-eteers side if you're watching the video version of this.
I also wanted to just mention real quick, since I'm the orders person. It's worth mentioning that if you order the vinyl, it ships separately from everything else.
Does it?
Correct? I don't think I can fit anything else in the vinyl shipping box, right? Unless it's like a flat item, like a sticker.
Then we might want to look at the store because right now it's just acting like something else.
Oh, okay.
Whoops.
Scary.
I'll have to we'll have to look in. So you might
well,
have
I'm
some
just
orders
thinking
that
about
you might
like
separate
say
manually.
someone orders a kazoo and a vinyl. There's no way to ship them together. So just as a reminder, like your vinyl will probably come separately from most items.
It should be fine because it should understand, but we should double check the store.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, that's all right.
Because it's been like
That's
we
why
set
I
this up
brought it
like
up. No,
set this up like more than 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Vinyls take a long time to manufacture.
Yeah, they had a little bit of an issue. They found a pop before they sent us our test pressing, so they had to redo the master. So that just delayed it a little more. It ended up being cheaper than their original quote was for whatever reason, but only
That's
by
good.
like a little bit.
Yeah.
It's still, they're so expensive. It's more easier to make CDs and they're more profitable than vinyls just because
Yeah.
I mean there was no indie artists making records back in the day in the same sense. Maybe they did. I wasn't around back then, but now it's kind of a niche thing.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of record makers out there, but
There's some like pretty quick ones now. Jack White's got one that can do it in like a second. But
what?
like that's Jack White.
Yeah.
Oh. To what? Just press a whole vinyl?
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
They'll record it live and then he'll like press the vinyl and you're recording.
Wow.
It's like
Mm.
awesome.
Yeah, no.
No,
it's
that
just-
doesn't surprise me.
The studio's not that far either. It's in LA.
I'm sure we have that kind of money.
Ah.
Too.
Let's call him.
Yeah.
Jack?
Collaboration?
I mean, I'm not a vinyl head. I mean, I like knowing that the album was recorded digitally, like in its highest quality. Like, like the transfer. Yeah, it's better than a CD,
Yeah.
but like, it's just as good as your record player is and your sound system.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a little warm sounding, but
It's just nice to
No.
have, Sometimes you have to have a physical
no,
copy
I
of
mean,
something,
if we weren't
like it's cool to look at, like
if we weren't a band, we wouldn't sell anything, right? So
Yeah, true.
it's just what you have to do when you're a
Yeah,
band.
I still have 2 huge storage bins full of my parents' old vinyls
Yeah,
from like
they're
before
awesome.
we were born.
Uh-huh.
Like all the old Beatles vinyls,
Yeah,
a
me
bunch of
too.
like David Bowie and Elton John.
which David Bowie is.
I know I for sure saw the Ziggy Stardust album. Like I remember looking at that
Nice.
cover. I don't remember the other ones. I know they had a few though,
Yeah,
but
I love Bowie.
yeah, good stuff.
I don't think my parents have any Bowie, but they do have a lot of Beatles.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
definitely all the Beatles. So.
My mom was like, no, wait, both of them. I think both of my parents went through like a huge Elton John phase back in the day.
Cool, right on.
So they have a lot of those, but
Yeah.
they're in storage somewhere. But I'm not ready to get rid of them because I want to
No,
look at them
no.
one more time at least
And you
before
got a
they go
vinyl.
somewhere.
You got a vinyl player, right? You got a regular
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
Should bust them out.
Mhm.
I need to get one.
Sounded good listening to the album yesterday. There were like a few of those classic little like pops
Yeah.
sounds. I was like, ooh.
Like
Shouldn't
you're-
be. Just
like
for any
you're
of you
next to a
vinyl heads
fire.
out there that are worried that there's pops in the album, there aren't.
No. I meant
Oh,
like
well, we checked them.
no.
We checked
I
them.
meant like the normal
The
things
crackling.
you hear.
Yeah, the crackling.
Well,
the
isn't
normal
that-
The
crackling.
warmth.
That's just created by the
Yeah.
player.
I'm,
Yeah, she meant.
But if you're a vinyl head and you're listening to this and you're like, what? They let pops
No.
go. No, there's none in the whole album. I mean,
Yeah,
we listened to
there's-
4 of them.
There's
They're
only
not-
3 pops, and they're in specific places, and they're only in 2 of the albums that we listened to.
I mean,
so.
vinyl stuff. I mean, a lot of it, you need a good engineer and stuff. Like, we didn't do it by ourselves, but like, you have to make sure, like, some of the stereo mixes, like, for the most part, most of the engineering now, it doesn't really matter, but you don't want the needle to jump because your mix is weird, and it the bass stuff can do that apparently. But I don't know. No one's gonna hear it as good as I hear it with the with the raw. I think the album we recorded at the highest quality that was just like overkill was MK3.
Yeah.
And it just took up so much hard drive space, and it took forever to open a project and stuff. And it was just overkill. But I recorded it there because we could. But then when you even export an MP3, like, they're high quality stuff. Well, we don't even export to MP3s. It's always WAV files and stuff for iTunes and stuff. So therefore, it can be downsampled to. I mean, I think they're not 320 kilobits per second, but
Is that
they're
frustrating when it goes on the CD and
CDs aren't very good quality.
Nah.
yeah.
And that's just how it is. I mean, it's better than, say, satellite radio or something, but
Yeah.
it's
So,
still.
like
But I don't listen to CDs, so I
like
don't
is
really.
iTunes like in comparison is that better quality? than
Now
CD?
it is.
Yeah.
Yes. At one point it wasn't because you're getting like 100. 28.
I remember when they like
kilobits a
first
second or whatever.
started offering both. They started offering the more high quality one too, and like charged more for it. And I think now it's just
Well, they have their own.
like, they
Yeah.
all are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
They
not.
have to be. You have to. You
Yeah.
gotta grow with the.
They have their
technology.
their file format that's not MP3, but I mean, it always tries to convert it to their iTunes thing.
Yeah,
and,
always.
And it's
Isn't-
it's still better than like a low quality MP3.
I don't know a lot about all this stuff, but I know that like whatever it's called, the WAV files are like supposed to be the highest quality.
Isn't FLAC?
Yeah, FLAC.
Oh, FLAC, yeah.
So if you go to our Bandcamp, like almost
Those are the
like
best
that one
quality.
gives you an option of what to download. So if you are an audiophile and you want a specific version of you want a specific file format, like that's the highest quality.
Yeah.
And we put as far as just because space on our own website. If you buy digitally from our store, you get the 320 MP3s, which I think are fine. Like they're comparable to the highest quality FLAC files too. Like I don't.
It all depends on what you're listening on. Like if you're
Yeah, yeah.
listening through earbuds, like get the MP3 because
Yeah.
it's not gonna make that much of a difference unless you got some like real nice like earbuds. Like if you got like,
Yeah.
some good speakers, like
I mean, you could really only tell difference in comparison. But I would say like even CD to some of the higher quality MP3s, I think the general listener won't ever notice.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I will, but I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a high quality MP3 and a high quality FLAC.
Yeah.
Some people maybe they just their ears can just hear the compression, but at that point it's like you're getting to the like how big do we need our files to be?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter any after a certain point, I think.
Yeah, true.
And I don't know, vinyl's like some people just like, oh, it's more natural sound. Like I don't know, that's it still was recorded digitally, and
I think there's something about the process of it though, like picking up the record, putting it on,
Yeah.
flipping it over.
Yeah.
Like there's something about it, and listening to the whole record backwards and forwards.
no, yeah,
like,
it's
that's
more
something that you
more
don't do-
tangible than
you don't do
anything.
anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everyone's got a playlist. Everyone's got
It's like a lost
scattered
art.
brain. Yeah, totally. So I like that.
But as far as sound quality goes, I wouldn't say it's better. I would say it's different.
I agree.
Like if you like that sound, I know tons of people do.
Yeah.
But I mean, digital you can accomplish a lot more. I think with as far as like just like how you master it and stuff is a little different because you're kind of limited with vinyl in a way.
True.
Well, it's cool that we
Whereas-
finally have one because it's been a
Yeah.
a popular request for
Well,
years.
I hope people appreciate it. Like
Yeah.
even though I'm not a vinyl head, it took as much
They
care
look
as I
very
could to do
nice.
it, and I made and the vinyl manufacturers made sure that it wasn't going to ruin record players or anything like that.
Steamrolled Heist is a good one because it's got all those little hits in there, so it's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably do more, but it'll take us a while. And we'll probably sell out at SteamWorld. We didn't make too many. We'll probably sell out by the end of the year, maybe.
Cool.
But we still have a few online.
Yeah. They're on our
So-
shop now. They're no longer a pre-order item, so.
Yeah, and if you buy them now, obviously it's gonna be the weekend, so
Yeah.
they won't your order your order probably won't ship because we have a lot of pre-orders to get through. Probably won't ship till
Yeah.
next week, but
Cool.
yay, vinyl
Yay.
adventure! Yay.
Dig it.
Next.
Oh, what's next on our
So,
our
yeah.
Do we have
list?
questions
What's
or
going on
questions?
here?
Questions?
We got a few questions on Twitter.
Yeah, you have some
Let's see.
shows, Brian, this week, last week, ever since Disney. You have anything?
Everything's no. Actually, we're working on. We're doing Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
with another band. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a perfect combination because it's an awesome female singer and we got a guitar player. I mean, another like two guitar players, saxophone, keyboard player.
And you do that live or is that?
We'll do it live.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm doing the last waltz with
Oh yeah.
with Miss Henry up at the
That's
Belly
awesome.
Up, like next sometime. I don't know.
Who's playing Ringo?
He was playing Ringo. I don't know. I'm gonna meet everyone. I think this Sunday we have our first rehearsal on this Sunday. So, but I'm gonna do some of the Muddy Water stuff over there.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me.
Yeah.
Naturally. No.
Naturally, Manish Boy stuff.
If you haven't ever seen The Last Waltz,
it's the best.
it's Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
He I mean, it's really good because it's the band, the Canadians who went and made American Southern music,
Yeah.
writing a lot of songs about. They just opened history books and started making
The
songs
band
about
is the name of the
the
band.
Civil War and stuff. But it's their harmonies are good and like nothing's like it's like their voices sound great, but they're not great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're rustic. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
it's hard to
there's
say.
There's a bit of grit on them.
And you've
yeah.
definitely heard at least the
Yeah,
weight
the
or
weight,
or
exactly. That's
yeah.
the big one.
I love a good, like, singer's voice that isn't super polished.
Yeah,
or,
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, with rock music and stuff like that, especially,
It's
it's
not too clean, you know. It's
yeah,
like you kinda
I
need
don't
that.
need a singer's voice to be too clean
Yeah.
to enjoy it. I like the grittiness and the realness sometimes
And
of
that's character.
not
you
hitting
know?
something perfectly.
Yeah.
It's
That's a lot of music is kind of missing that. You know, it's like.
Well, yeah, and there's nothing fun about
I
listening
know
to a voice of a pop, and it's all it sounds like
Right.
Yeah.
gasoline
Like-
was spread over the whole
But
album.
like, think about like the Temptations, you know, Angel by the Bay. Like he starts off and it kind of hits a funky note. I know you want it. It's kind of funky, but
Yeah.
like whatever. Like
the Beatles.
David
have,
Ruffin's
I mean,
the best. You know, it's like
and
yeah.
a lot of like, especially early Beatles stuff is very like
Totally.
not very polished,
Yeah.
and it's part of the charm.
I mean, ever since you were able to, do some more complicated recording techniques, people have been trying to.
Yeah.
I mean, Beatles did like pitch correction and stuff just with speed and stuff. I mean, they had a great engineer
which
at
is
the time too.
man,
Yeah, what's his
Phil
name?
Spector did, Phil Spector, or sorry,
George Martin,
George
yeah.
Martin,
Who also produced Love, the
Yeah,
Cirque
when
show,
his son
which is
did,
like
right?
incredible. That CD that he put together
That's like one of my favorite things to listen
is
to.
like, oh wow, yeah.
If you go watch The Last Waltz, and I guess we never explained what it was, but
yeah.
it's the band's last like performance together, and they have all these other musicians at the time: Eric Clapton, Ringo, to name a few, and Muddy Waters, and there's so many. But it's great, and they play a bunch of the band songs, and but Martin Scorsese like did it, so it's like half interview. It's kind of like what you see in most like live band videos. Like there'll be like interviews in the middle, and it was done in the '70s. But the weird thing is the lead guitarist, he doesn't sing in the band, but Martin Scorsese, they put a microphone in front of him. It's not plugged into anything.
It's so bizarre.
And yeah, he mouths along to the band, but he's not a good singer. And I think is he the only
He's
one
the
that
only
left
one still alive.
still alive?
Yeah.
And you can see him sing, and he's not very great. I mean, age whatever, but he's never been a great singer.
Yeah.
But just watch that show, and you'll be fooled into like, oh, is he adding harmonies? Like, no, you got the keyboard player, you got Levon Helm, who's the drummer who does a lot of the lead vocals and stuff. Anyways, pretty cool show.
Yeah,
Cool.
They got that one in like Blu-ray, so they got
I
some
should
nice
watch that.
versions of that.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Turn it up loud.
Yeah.
So when it starts off, it's like just turn your system.
Like even if you don't know the
It's
band,
always
like
Is
I mean,
it a documentary?
yeah,
it's like
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I love music
yeah.
documentaries about bands and stuff like that.
it's a full performance though. Like it's the concert mixed and chopped
Yeah.
up with like little tidbits about everything. And
Have
so-
you guys seen I think it's called This Is It, the Michael Jackson
Oh
one?
yeah.
I
That
have
is
not
a good
seen it.
one.
I have it.
Oh
I have it
my
on
God.
Blu-ray, and I've
It's-
never watched it.
It's like
I just don't want to watch
it's sad.
I know, but like
because you haven't seen that
have
Chris
to.
Farley
I know,
documentary.
I can't watch it. I can't
Yeah.
watch it though. But like you have to see it because like I don't think a lot of people understand like how musically talented he was.
Yes.
Like
Because you see, you hear pop singing, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, someone else wrote all these.
And
songs.
just like how dedicated he was
Yeah.
to that show. Like he didn't just like
Every
have someone
moment.
else put it on
Yeah.
for him.
every
and
moment was thought out.
Since obviously since the concert was canceled and no one ever saw it, basically the documentary is going through the entire concert set list
Yeah.
in chronological order, showing him rehearse every single song.
It's so
And you
cool.
can see the dancers that like were hired for the show. They're in awe of him, and
Yeah.
they're just
And-
and
Oh
they
my
should like
gosh.
it's
they're
incredible.
they show off the dancing and Michael's in the audience
Yeah.
watching them, like cheering them
I
on,
know.
and like their
Ugh.
faces are like,
Yeah.
it's like the best. That's like the
I
best.
hear there's a
feeling.
good IEM scene too,
Yeah,
where he doesn't,
there's
he
the
doesn't
scene
want the
where-
IEMs.
There
Yeah, his producers are trying to get him to use
Well, yeah,
IEMs.
because
and
no one
he-
want your star to
he's
blow their
like-
ears out.
Yeah. He's like, I can't hear myself.
It's so because it's just like if you go your whole life. I mean,
Yeah.
I did it while we were I did the transition during the zoo run, so I was like, and that was when we only had mono mix. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
terrible. I'm not comparing us to Michael Jackson. I'm just saying like the it's a struggle to like be able to get that. And
he's been doing it since he was 6, so it's
Yeah.
like that's a whole different thing for him. you
and I
know?
mean we're pretty lucky to have Steve because I think the way we have our setup, like we have the best of both worlds with the vent IEMs
Yeah.
as well as the ambient
Okay.
mics. It's like works pretty good. But to be fair, the monitors are still fun to play with too. It's just when most of the time when you're unable to hear stuff, you're just blowing your ears out more.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
There's another good one documentary what was it? It Might Get Loud.
I was just gonna mention
Yeah.
that
Oh,
one.
cool.
I saw it on Netflix a
It's
couple nights ago.
Jimmy Page, Jack White, and The Edge.
Oh,
And the whole documentary is just them like sitting around together talking about their guitars and their musical artistry
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it
stuff.
kind of
And
goes like in each of their
their
like,
own
you know,
separate
yeah,
styles.
It's really cool.
it's really fun to watch.
There's another one. I haven't actually seen it, but there's on Netflix. It's an older one, not too old, called The Wrecking Crew, and it's
oh, that's the best, man. I'm
It's,
saying it's all the best, but that's really good.
I haven't seen that one.
and musicians who pretty much were on every record back in the day. So
Okay.
that's a really
Yeah, there's the Wrecking Crew.
Studio musicians,
There's
that's
one
basically-
about
yeah.
one about the Swampers, who did like Percy Sledge, Aretha Franklin, all that old stuff.
Oh, wow.
There's one about. Have you seen 20 Feet to Stardom?
No.
It's all about backup singers from like
I bet
way
that's
back
really
in the day,
interesting.
from like one of the very first ones who sang on all like the Ronette stuff, like recorded all this music,
my
never got any
gosh.
credit,
Mhm.
like
Oh, wow.
all the way up to like today. And they have Judy King Judy Hill, who's did the Michael Jackson. She was
Okay.
in This Is It as well. But it's like a super emotional documentary, and it's just like it's really cool. It's a really good one, and I think it's on Netflix as well. So
Lots of cool
there's a lot of
stuff
stuff
to
to
watch.
watch. And did we all watch Stranger Things 2 yet?
yeah,
No, Camille
what?
hasn't.
Camille,
Ah!
how far are you?
I haven't
nothing?
started.
Ah, I can't even.
It was good.
It's
So wait, when
It's
Bunny was
good.
talking about it yesterday, we just all assumed you had seen it.
She doesn't care.
I had already the spoiler we were talking about I had already assumed, so
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
super enjoyable.
Well, I
Yeah.
went into it with like not a lot of expectations because the hype backlash kind of got to me
Over
with
the
everyone
year,
like
yeah.
last year after it came out, I just like kind of got sick of hearing about it, even though I enjoyed the first season. So I was kind of like apprehensive to watch season 2 because I was like, oh, it's gonna be a bunch of fan service, but I enjoyed it a lot.
Barb comes back to life. And you won't guess what the kids get. Like, no.
The kid who plays Will needs to skip the Emmy and get an Oscar like immediately because I don't understand like for an adult to put on a performance like that for a kid, like that's ridiculous.
All those kids are
and
so
like
good.
to think about like he wasn't even in the last season, so
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
all these kids are so good, and then he shows up, and some of that
Yeah.
stuff was like that stuff was pretty deep.
I'm always
It's
like
pretty stuff hard
really
material to
impressed
handle.
when they find good child actors.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But that stuff is super hard to handle, and he just handled like a champion.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah.
Dug it though. Did you guys see Thor?
No,
Not yet.
I've been
No.
sick.
All right.
I want to though.
I
I
went
was-
and saw like, 2 nights ago.
Oh yeah. I was so busy all weekend. I worked the ballet, my other job. We had our season opener last weekend.
How'd that go?
Yeah, it was good. We did a bunch of like showcase stuff. It wasn't like a long story ballet. It was a 2-hour show, and we did 4 separate pieces. We did the Firebird Suite with music by Stravinsky, and then we did like a really famous ballet by George Balanchine called Serenade, which is probably my favorite ballet to watch.
Cool.
Like that's the one I would recommend to anyone who's never seen a ballet before. And we did some like other cool stuff. We premiered something that was choreographed by the director of the New York City Ballet, which is a really big deal. So yeah, I was busy with that all weekend.
Cool.
I was gonna go to it, but then I was sick, and
Yeah.
there was no way.
That's all right. Plenty of stuff in the future. That was my weekend. I stayed busy. I don't feel like I've gotten a break since Halloween because the day after Halloween I had to go straight to work and prep for the ballet. What have you been up to? Questions?
I went to the ballet too.
Hey. I
worked 2 other jobs.
I went through. I got my free trial of PlayStation Now, so I've been like playing.
Oh yeah,
all
I've been
these
wondering.
Oh.
I've seen your
video
friends.
games. It's so bizarre.
He's like, is that Tokyo Jungle he's playing?
Tokyo
Yeah.
Jungle. I love Tokyo Jungle, and my roommate had never played it, and he's like super obsessed with it right now. But I played through Abzu, maybe. Is that what?
Oh,
Abzu.
Oh, yeah.
That one's on
I-
PS4. That one's on PS4.
I redeemed the free, PlayStation
Plus.
membership
Yeah.
one. I haven't played it yet though.
It's so much fun, and you'll play like right through it. Like it's
Abzu?
super short,
Yeah.
but it's like the most peaceful.
It's like Journey. It's kind of like
It's-
Journey.
I
Yeah.
swam with killer whales for like 35 minutes. Like 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Like there's no, and the thing is like there's no objective to it. It's
Yeah.
just like you start in the water, and like they're like hold R2 to dive, and that's all they tell you. And then you just kind of swim around and like you kind of press buttons, kind of figure some stuff out, and then like it kind of just takes you around. It's like
you played Journey?
Yeah, I have, and I played
because it's kind of like that,
Flower.
right?
It's the same guy.
Flower, Journey.
Yeah.
Well, Abzu, I think, is the same team as Journey, but it was after the Santa Monica Studios closed down.
But it's the same. Who's the
developer?
That game
it's the same people.
Yeah, it's the same. He's the guy who wrote it.
Or no, that game company closed down. Right?
Yeah,
not Santa Monica Studios. Sorry,
but they're back and they're doing the one for iPhone now. So
interesting. Yeah, see, I liked.
I just love
Journey.
all those games.
I really like Journey. I like Flower, but like I don't like.
It's hard.
Flower gives me motion sickness.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't know
that's
why.
I
It's
like
not
a
that
controller.
intense.
I want a controller, you know. So this was like right up my. And I love like the ocean, so like, and you get to sit there and like meditate, and like it'll just have like all the names of all the fish, so I get to sit there and like learn about fish all day long.
That's cool.
It's like the coolest.
I need to play it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Journey was like a big one for me. I played it.
It's so good.
I put so many hours into Journey. I've played it countless times because it's you can play it in one sitting. It's super short. And back when it came out on PS3. Like I was really into it when it first came out, and there were tons of people playing, and I would sync up with friends. We'd like find the areas of each level where it was like easy to sync up with people. And I was like super into
but
Journey.
like you get a different experience every time depending on who you played with. And it was just really unique.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. It's very short, but it's like super meaningful.
There's a lot of games that are coming out and came out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we always pretty much every week I ask for questions. One person asks us what games we're looking forward to, and I know we've answered it a lot, but
it's
we
Red
just
Dead
have
Redemption
so many.
2,
I can't wait. And they got Red Dead, I'm trying to like not play through it.
That's like the one, but also very recently we finally got a release date for the Shadow of the Colossus remastered.
Yes. February.
I'll always play through. I'll always play through.
It's like a brand new game. Like it's not just remastered.
Same
it's
stuff, but
it's just like
they have everything's redone.
Yeah, I bought it on PS3. I'm like,
I bought it when it came out on PS2, and I've been playing it ever since.
I'll never forget like the first time like the monster turns around and you're just like, wait, like what?
Man, that game is like
what am I supposed
terrifying
to do?
in this like awe-inspiring way.
Yeah, it is.
It
gave me pause.
It did a lot of technical achievements in that game. Like they pushed a lot of things that we just take for granted in games now.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I won't tell you. No Clip. No Clip seems to be doing a good job doing video game documentaries now. They're the YouTube channel, and they're all funded like on Patreon or maybe it's Kickstarter. I can't remember. But they did a Witcher documentary, and that was like
it was really good.
really good.
Really?
Oh yeah,
you need to watch it.
It makes you want to play The Witcher again, even though if you already put 300 hours into it.
Well, I'm right at the end of Blood and Wine, and I'm just like, I don't want to beat it either. Like,
I stretched that.
I'm playing
DLC
every
out
side
for a
mission.
year.
I'm finding side missions that I didn't
Upgrade
do like way back in the day, and like just
Yeah.
chopping people in half now because I'm just like,
I
so powerful.
yeah.
You're building up your gold to the last improvements on your house.
Yeah, I haven't renovated all of my house yet, even though I finished it. So I'm like, I still have something to do.
I just like the guest room. Like you have to keep that updated, like just in case any of your friends come over.
Yeah, of course.
In the single player game.
Of course. Gotta look good.
And then you hang the paintings. Like I'll put the naked one. On
Which one did you do? What did you have? It was naked, but he was.
It was him on a horse.
Me too. Yeah.
Wait. Like if there's a painter, like there's a side quest where he paints Geralt naked, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
You can tell him you can kind of get the painting to look different if you tell him something different.
Yeah. Well, there's like three options, like with the background or like in water or something like that, or on a horse. I was like, on a horse, of course, on a horse, and then it's just you naked.
You put it in the guest room so they have to look at it.
Nah.
Oh, what a great game!
But what has come out? The South Park game. That's like just if you like South Park, it's pretty much South Park.
Well, I think the whole
game.
difficulty level thing is worth mentioning.
Yeah,
right? That's amazing.
Well, it's not like the combat difficulty.
It's not the combat difficulty, but like the character interactions.
Yeah. When you create a character, you can choose your skin color, and the darker your skin color is, the harder the game is.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
like characters treat you differently.
That's terrible.
But it's but it says on the bottom, it's like this doesn't affect combat, just everything else in your life.
It doesn't affect combat.
They also, and I played a little bit of it, and when and then the last game they just assumed you were a guy, but in this game they let you pick your gender, but you're technically the same kid. There's no carryover or from the last game, but when you go to your counselor, there's a little bit of spoilers, and you're like, oh, like like, let's take an evaluation, and you can change to be male, female.
Yeah.
And then you can even be transgender or non-binary.
Interesting.
And if you're anything but a cis male, it's the same. It plays out the same.
It gets harder.
Whereas, like, you should know that there's people out there who won't accept you for who you are, and then you go outside and some rednecks come out, and whatever you said, they try to beat you up, and of course you kill them. But it's like,
that's wild, dude.
Like,
have you been watching South Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch the last one, the last episode?
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to figure out where they're going with like the whole. I mean, I see it now, but it's like I feel like this is like the focal point of the season. Like, oh, you're trying to make a statement.
I mean, it's weird because they plan the the overarching thing, but then they put in stuff that's going on that week because it's made in a week. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange formula.
Because they had the witch hunt one, which was obviously it's like okay, a lot of people coming out.
That was after the Harvey Weinstein thing.
But they didn't really. That was less like on the nose. Everything else, usually South Park is on the nose these days. But
yeah, you're right.
But that witch one was just kind of like, oh, is this supposed to be funny? Like, no, they're obviously talking about how people get together to bring stuff down with just accusations or something.
But yeah, it was just interesting. Like, I'm not a really big fan of like the arch. In South Park.
That started a few seasons ago.
Yeah. But like, I mean, it's just they have a way of like getting to me sometimes. I'm like, oh, you rapscallions, like I get you. Like,
it's not as interesting as it was a few years ago, but I still watch it because
I love it. Yeah.
There's nothing else out there like it, and it's kind of nice to just watch something that's trying to offend.
I don't really like watch it. I'll see occasional episodes if I'm like.
I never get offended by South Park though. But that's because
I remember.
I'm like,
I don't know if it was last season or the season before, but I remember the one where like the Whole Foods opened in the town, and that was like really funny.
And they're like, oh, do you want to make a donation and if you don't, this gerbil will die or something. Like they're trying to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
So I like stuff like that because it's like there's nothing raunchy about that. But it's still like really funny. So, yep.
Yeah, I dig it.
So yes, we were terrible people because we have watched episodes of South Park. just putting that out there before I see it on the internet.
I just finished that HBO show, The Leftovers. Really weird show, but really good.
Yeah.
You don't go into it expecting anything to be explained.
Yeah, okay.
My kind of
not
show.
the kind of show it is, but you'll get a lot out of it anyway.
All right, Leftovers.
Yeah.
It's about the apocalypse.
No, it's like, I mean,
spaghetti?
if you want to call it something, you can call it the rapture, but it's like a bunch of people disappear. They call it the departure. And it's basically about like when you're confronted with things that you just have no explanation for and you're not going to get one. So the whole show is kind of about not having answers and what people do when there is no answer. Like, this one woman like loses her entire family and it's like, they're not dead, so it's like what does the world do when you don't know anything? And it's really interesting. You don't know.
It definitely sounds like one of those shows that's
Camille
about like
knows
rebuilding
she
a
watched
society.
No, actually,
is it done?
It's over. It just ended in like spring.
Does it have a nice little bow? How's the ending? How's the ending?
It's good.
Are we not
slightly?
She's like trying not to spoil it.
I just want to go on like a satisfaction
I
level.
was satisfied, but like you get an answer, but the more you think about it, you can kind of question whether. I don't want to spoil anything, but
on a scale from Sopranos to Lost.
You can kind of question whether that answer is true. I was satisfied either way.
Well, it sounds like you're basically you're given an answer, but then the show leaves you to decide if you take it at face value.
Cool.
Exactly.
Okay, or if you're supposed to think about it more. Like I don't know.
Yeah, you could. There's a lot to think about. But there was an answer if you want to be satisfied.
Yeah.
Is Sopranos your best ending?
I didn't.
Ends.
Discuss.
I've heard a lot of theories about that. I have not watched the show personally, but obviously I know how it ends.
Yeah.
And like I've heard. The Sopranos is a really old show. I don't think anyone cares if I talk about it. But like, I heard a theory that it's I heard a theory that it's like supposed to be from his point of view, and the cut to black is like him dying, like someone shoots him, maybe.
That's what they assume.
If you want to go,
like it's supposed to be like that's the end of his life.
If you want to go even farther back, you could go to the ending of Roseanne.
Oh, yeah.
Does anyone remember that back in the 90s?
I never watched it, but you heard about it. You heard about
the last. Oh no, go ahead.
Refresh me.
Where John Goodman's character, and this is just I'm probably forgetting something. John Goodman's character has a heart attack. In the story, he does recover, and then they win the lottery, and then it's them dealing with the lottery. But the very last season, it's her writing in a journal, and it's like, or something like that. She's writing a book about it, about her life, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the rest of it. But basically, it's kind of implied that like John Goodman's character did die, and she just wrote like a better version of her life. After that.
That's kind of cool.
Okay.
Though.
So that basically they're saying the last season was all made up.
Yeah.
And
it's a cool idea, but I can see why people were
upset.
yeah.
But I think it was so ambiguous that some people took it a different way. From what I remember, it would be interesting to go read up on Wikipedia like what people have said after that. Yeah. But I think the creators probably said you can take it either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
well, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean that's kind of
series
how finales are
Lost was
so
too.
difficult.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
it's how are you supposed to end something?
I know.
Like Breaking Bad. That's
yeah.
how you do it.
But yeah, that was perfect.
That's how
so
you do it.
That's how you do it.
6 feet under,
10 on
perfect.
this,
Oh yeah.
The only one I remember like as a kid was the last episode of Seinfeld.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Such a big deal.
like-
And then everyone was like, "What? That's the
was
the
like-
end? Like that's it?"
Of course, that's the end.
Yeah. It's Seinfeld.
Like, terrible people.
Have you watched the show? Like they're the worst.
That was great.
Do we have questions?
We have a couple
I see
questions.
these meters going red. I think we're getting too loud. I should have looked at that.
Oh.
Oh well, doesn't
I'm
matter.
sorry.
No, keep it loud.
How loud are we
It's just the
getting?
video. If it's completely crackly, who
So-
knows?
Is it because I'm doing the Jerry Seinfeld?
I think maybe the computer updated and this morning OBS had all the inputs were changed. So I think maybe it's like a different multiplier now on the gain structure. The gain structure is different. That's what it looks like to me because it's never gone in the red before.
Oh.
Sorry, if any of the people complaining about
I haven't seen
getting
anyone
crackly.
complain.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good enough.
Turn
Okay.
down.
We can do like rapid fire questions. None of them I think like require a super long answer,
Although
but I've gotten
I'll
a
give
few.
one.
Question for Bryan: what's your favorite animal?
Oh man, orca.
Yeah, you
Orca.
just swim with the
Oh,
water.
Half an
yeah.
hour.
Like
Half
a
hour.
shamu.
The shampoo.
Let's see.
The shampoo show.
Biggest fear to all of us.
Oh, just Bryan.
No, that one was just for you. But now I'm talking to the room.
No one cares what our
Being
favorite
eaten
animal
alive by an orca.
Being eaten alive by an orca.
Betrayal.
Betrayal.
That's my biggest fear is being eaten alive.
And
I
they
can't-
would.
I
They
can't
probably
think
would.
of
It's the worst.
one.
Oh, is it not being eaten alive? Is
I'm
that not
being
terrible?
eaten
I'm
alive.
not gonna let
Pretty
anyone
awful.
know
So
because
You don't want anyone to eat you
I
alive.
I can't
Oh.
let anyone know because I don't want to be buried alive.
Oh no!
I mean, I think most things about dying would be anyone's
Yes.
fear. There's no like who
Yeah,
would
but that one specifically, it just seems pretty rough.
suffocating
Yeah.
probably seems like a terrible way to die.
Let's
but
stop talking
no,
about
I
this.
think, yeah.
How did your family react to you choosing an artistic career? Any advice about this?
Oh,
How'd your family react?
innocent.
I don't know.
Ours
For
was
us,
a
it's like
non-reaction because we kind of just like have been living it since we were 4 years old.
when you're like 5 years old, it's your parents who put you in an artistic situation, and they're supportive when you keep doing it.
Yeah.
So ours are kind of different. I don't know.
we didn't go into artistic endeavors later in life. Our mom signed us up for ballet class like literally when we were 4 years old, and then when we got a little older, like 10, she started working for the company. So like it's literally been our life since.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
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 My parents are super supportive. It's just about not just being artistic, having a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Have a plan. Parents should be supportive.
Yeah, no, parents were supportive. Even my birth mother, who I don't talk to anymore. But it was I growing up there was definitely like art being put into it. But I also feel like it was because my parents had so many problems that we were kind of left to our own accord
Yeah.
for a lot of it. So we just kind of grew up knowing we could do whatever, but we were just kind of afraid of everything.
I think it just really depends on the environment you grow up on.
True.
And like our family already was very artistic. My grandma painted my whole life.
Cool.
Like we have a bunch of her paintings hanging up like in all of our relatives' households. So
Yeah.
I think it just depends. Like maybe someone who grows up in like a household full of doctors or lawyers or something,
be
might be
different, yeah.
pushed into doing something else, and they might have a different experience with striking out on their own. But
Yeah.
it sounds like all of us come from artistic families.
Yeah, but don't let anyone push you into doing anything.
Yeah.
you don't
Art's
wanna
important,
do,
too.
you know?
Well, I had to do. Our mom made us do lots. Not these are terrible things, but
No.
we were forced to take karate for years. because we got picked on all the time. We're like, we're not karate kids. What the hell? Like,
what if we were in the same? You took karate in Santee?
No, in El Cajon.
Oh, dang it! There was a studio I went to in Santee with this guy with a mullet.
They all have
ring any
that
bells?
sounds so. I want to say like 90s. When was
I mean
this?
it was. I mean, you see the picture
karate
of it. I've got a big old flat top, and he's got a mullet. Like it's the most 90s pictures.
I never wanted to be in. Never the karate. It would never appeal to me, and I just wanted to go home and play video games or whatever.
Bruce Lee though.
One of my classmates
ride horses. That was another thing. We were forced to ride horses, and doing shows, and it was not what we were interested in. It was what our mom was interested in.
I don't have any experience with martial arts, but I had a classmate in high school who did kung fu, and that one always like seemed cooler than karate. I don't know, probably because not as many people did it.
Everything's cooler than karate. Everything else is cooler than karate.
Staying home, not going to karate
is way cooler than karate.
Well, technically, I have done a little bit of martial arts because Tai Chi counts, and I've done Tai Chi.
Yeah.
So
Tai Chi's dope.
Tai Chi is the best.
Oh, I don't want people to get the wrong idea and think, oh, what a rich lifestyle. Like, your parents made you ride horses. Like, no. I mean, we were middle class, maybe, but you know, when one of your parents owns horses, like that, like any money goes to that. You know, it's like it's such a drain on your finances, and I don't know. My parents were just in debt all the time.
I mean, you grow up with horses. You want to play video games.
Yeah.
I grew up with a PlayStation, and I wanted to ride a horse. It's all about like what you don't have as a kid.
Well, I had video games too.
I'm generalizing. You know what I mean? Because you said you didn't like riding horses.
One of those,
and I was
girls. Who
I was
like
the weird horse
girl.
I was the cliche middle school weird horse.
There's nothing special about it when you have it though. Like it's just every day. It's just normal. It's just normal. Of course, all our friends were like that, and we'd be like,
awesome.
"You wanted the stupid horses."
Like, why do you want to ride a horse?
Oh, they're so big. And
Horses
cool.
are also terrifying.
Terrifying. Yeah,
but when you have to take care of them,
whoa,
you have to like pick up their poop, and you don't even want to ride.
And there's like there's poop everywhere.
That's all it is. That's my childhood. Was chores.
We had to do it.
Chores in between video games.
They used to make me do the 4th of July parade every year in Coronado, and there's a bunch of horses. So it's just like 2 miles of walking in the heat and like stepping over horse poop.
Yeah.
Horse poop. And also parades are like the worst.
Oh, we had to go to so many parades.
You just wave at people like,
wait, what is it? Is this football? Is that what they did for parades or something?
No, it was the theater. It was
really?
So they would dress us up we would go in our costumes and we would like. And I would wave to people.
The Mother Goose Parade and stuff.
I do the Mother Goose Parade too when I was a kid. Because I did karate. Did you do the Mother Goose Parade?
I never had to be in the parades, but I had to go with our parents.
I'm trying to make a connection of us as children. We had to cross bases at some point.
Yeah, we live in the same town somewhere, close enough.
So I'm saying.
But no,
I always think that.
We had to stay in the hot car for
in 1994 the Karate Kids? That was me. I think I remember seeing a kid just like you. You were in black? You had a hat?
I'm not even wearing black when I was a kid.
Sure.
You dressed exactly the same, but you were 10 years old.
I had like similar things. Like I had a favorite jacket or something, but I wore black jeans all the time.
See, I knew it, black jeans.
But as a kid, it's not like you had a choice. Like you go to I didn't have a choice. I didn't go to the store.
I mean, living in San Diego my entire life, I do think about that sometimes. About like we as kids could have all crossed paths so many times and we'd never know.
Totally.
Isn't that crazy?
One of my best friends lived down the street from me, and I used to go to this place called the Game Exchange. His uncle owned it, and he used to work there. And then it's Chris Zarif. He went to Grossmont. And he ended up going to Grossmont, and I randomly met him. Randomly met him at Grossmont, and I was friends with his other friend, and then we became. It was like this weird connection, and then he lives right down the street from me, like a block away, this whole time. So our lives have been like.
Same with not Sam, but Carolina, Sam's friend, who like Sam was over there all the time. Like literally lived closer than my best friend, and I never knew until
so wild.
Wow,
it was just so weird. Yeah, so weird. Anyway, anytime you think I know someone in college. Or no, wait. I should say the other thing. If anyone thinks they know me from college, you didn't, because I didn't know anyone. Like I have a few acquaintances that we we did a show together, we were in a class together, but you didn't really know me.
I thought maybe because he did some acting classes too, so I thought maybe you had crossed.
Yeah, I mean,
because you was at least the same year as us.
I kept to myself.
Yeah, I know.
I got to know some people because I had to work with them, but I wanted out.
I know, dude. I remember.
Everything was uncomfortable.
Everything still is uncomfortable.
Starting Steam Powered Giraffe was the positive change. Yeah. No, it was all positive. I'm sure something.
Favorite song you guys have made so far? I'll answer that a lot. Is there any chance that you'll come to Argentina someday?
Ooh.
Of course, if there's interest there.
Totally.
I don't think we'd go out of our way to set up a show there because we don't know anyone or anything. And
if there was like an event in Argentina that really wanted us, of course we would consider it.
Yeah.
But we're a small band. That's the easiest thing I say. Oh, we're a small band. You can see, look at our calendar. We don't go too many places in a year.
Yeah.
For what the act is, so you know.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
It was.
I mean,
the egg. It was the egg. It just wasn't laid by a chicken.
Evolution.
Yes.
That's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Neil deGrasse Tyson answer.
It starts
because
with
something laid
cells.
something that wasn't a chicken laid an egg that had to evolve into something else, and it evolved into a chicken, and then that was a chicken. So the egg came first, the chicken came second. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Obviously, I've heard of Disney gig. Is it a really big deal?
Sounds like a big deal
sounds like
when we tell people.
I mean, yeah, it's really. We've never done.
No, it's very
exciting.
it's very gratifying to audition for something and then get it.
Yeah. Any tips on how to start a career in singing? I wouldn't know.
Voice lessons and learn to play an instrument. If you want to start a career in singing and you can play an instrument, then you can sing in restaurants and you can sing on Broadways and you can sing anywhere you want. But if you don't have an instrument, then you rely on somebody else, and relying on other people is not good advice in your career.
You can do stuff on your own, but like you gotta have some type of foundation for like vocal training. Like it just there's so much that you'd have to correct if you did it wrong, and you might have already damaged your voice by then.
Yeah.
Like it's simple things that people who just sing casually probably don't think about, but there's so many artists out there who lose their voice when they're older, and everyone will at some point. Their voice will change, but if you want to be able to sing for 4 40-minute sets,
goodness, you're right.
I mean, we're a little lucky because we sing harmony sometimes, which
but
might be
still,
a little
that's
easier. Still a lot of singing.
Just a lot of singing,
So yeah, if you're in high school or something, join the choir. That's a great. I mean, it's probably boring. You roll your eyes. I did it at the same time, but you learn a little bit of that.
Do gospel choir then. It's not boring, and you won't roll your eyes. That's the best. Seriously, and that's what I recommend. Anyone who doesn't sing, like if you want to learn how to sing, first thing first, like join a choir, because you'll be able to sing with 12 other people who are singing the same thing. So it's not like half the thing about singing is nerves. You're singing by yourself. You're like, I can't sing, but when everyone is like, you can't help but sing. So
it's awesome.
It's a good way to like strengthen your voice.
Yeah, and then you also get the feedback of what other people are sounding like. It's pretty good to lock in with other people. So yeah, do that. And then when you get to college, I mean, there's always voice classes. I took a voice class. I learned a few things there, but a lot more in musical theater, I would think, because that's more geared towards what I would later do with Steam Powered Giraffe.
But even the musical theater stuff, we had elements of voice teacher. Like Ron was definitely a voice teacher.
Oh yeah,
he would definitely tell us, just like little things, like where I used to grab on like really, tight with my throat. My throat was always like that's how I'm gonna sing, and that I worked with him for a year, and he really opened me up because that's something that he can pick up on really easily. He's been through it, and like bad habits like that are hard to see in yourself. When you've been doing it your whole life, you're like, that's how I sing.
Yeah, because you
it's
develop
like,
your own crutches that you don't even aware of.
That's not how you sing. That's not how people sing. It's just how you have developed to sing. So it's always good to have a different opinion and a second eye and a different ear to help you out. Like, no matter how long you've been singing.
It does help to have some good teachers, but you can't always know what. I feel like I took a voice class in first when I was in college. Didn't really care for the teacher. I learned a little bit of stuff, so I felt like I had to self-teach a little bit. Someone was just giving the material. Yeah. But then I had something like, Elisa and Ron with the music theater classes. And I took that class like 3 times. Well, me, because I didn't get in the first time.
Me too.
They didn't let me in the first time or whatever.
Really?
But I kept coming back every year, and she eventually, I guess, persistent. She was like, "Okay, I'll let you in."
Wait, we took the class like 3 times together.
Yeah, I think because you're a year below. You're a year.
So the year that you joined,
because I was a year ahead.
I joined that same year.
Because I was already there a year when you came in.
I just found like my 3 DVDs from moving. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't watch that stuff.
Oh yeah, no,
it hurts my soul.
They're on the They're on the Engineer-eteers site.
Are they?
Some of them. And they're prefaced with like, look, everyone sucks. And to be fair, we didn't suck terribly, but I did completely botch the lyrics.
Before Bryan was a part of the band, like you mean? Because we were all in it together?
Maybe. Yeah. I did the ones that were focused on me, and then I didn't really say who the other person was. But I know I posted on Instagram like just like a small clip.
I remember you posted something when we did our duet together, and we stole all of Bunny's capes.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
We have any more capes in there?
Well, anyways, you got to start somewhere. That's the answer that you.
Any chance for another YouTube concert in the future?
Yeah,
I
think
3 this last year.
We want to do it. The first 2 we kind of felt as were the trial runs, so we kind of see it. We only did 2 this year.
3.
I know we did 3, but I'm saying
I'm
like
sorry.
The first 2 were like we did almost the same thing for the first 2 because we were trying to get the technical stuff out, and that's why we did them so close together so we wouldn't forget like the changes and. But we also not that we haven't talked about it too much, but like we kind of feel like we had to space them out a lot because otherwise we're doing the same songs that we're doing at live shows. And then it's so easy to turn on a live stream and be like, "Oh, there it is," and then you tune in a few months later and it's the same thing. Like, to be fair, the summer one had like more of a plot or something, but it's the same songs, so a few a year
isn't weird. Like if you go to a concert,
you're
that
hear
people
Honeybee.
keep the same set for multiple shows and change little things out here and there. But it's a different environment on YouTube. People who've never seen our show before were like, "Oh, this is the same set you just played 2 weeks ago," and that's normal.
And
not everyone's gonna understand.
We got bombarded with that stuff, so it's not like we want to keep playing to the same. When people's, I don't know, that's how I feel about it anyways. It's like, boy, I certainly want to do another show, because that's all I'll be thinking in the live stream is like, they certainly don't want to hear this song again.
You can travel with the same exact set all over the country for a year.
And it'll be new for everyone,
no one knows, but the minute you bring that to YouTube, everyone's
maybe
like, well, I already saw this.
I guess maybe for like YouTube entertainment, like it looks lazy, but it's like, well, we're also doing live shows at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like,
we can't have an entire
it's not like we have all this time in between to rehearse like a whole completely new set. That just doesn't make any sense.
Thinking about doing one like even at the end of this year is like there's so
we
much stuff going on. It's like but there's no time.
But that's what internet. I mean, that's why it takes like hundreds of people to make content for people to eat up. Like we're not just a YouTube channel that we can make something per week. Like it just doesn't work that way. But sorry, I always like talk down about
maybe
no we'll do a few of those a year hopefully. I know Bunny wanted to do an acoustic one that's basically a little less commitment,
totally,
and it won't sound as good, but it'll be fine because it'll be like on a cell phone, or maybe we'll use that in a good microphone, but you know what I mean, like something like just in a house.
Is that easier to bring in different songs to acoustic?
No. You have to kind of pick and choose because some songs are so heavily rely on instruments.
You did that little live stream of the acoustic earlier this year, like in the summer. We did like a little acoustic live stream.
It was what
we auditioned for Disney with.
At the time, of course, we couldn't say that, but that's why we were practicing.
But we'll probably do something like that. I don't know by the end of the year.
Some songs, it sounds nice to do the acoustic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Different feel.
If you're having good space, I mean, it can be a little easier sometimes too.
True.
All right, let's see. Do any of you knit? No.
Nope.
Can't say we do.
David?
I don't think.
No.
David,
he's thinking about it. He's like, well, I've knitted, but do I knit? I don't
even sew any. The only thing I know how to sew are point shoes.
Yeah, we learned
awesome.
we learned like the bare minimum sewing skills because we
sew
have
your
to
ribbons
sew your shoes
with floss.
I don't understand so you put the needle through and you cross it up. And then
basically stitching is all I know.
But then where does the needle go after that? Like, how do I embed the needle into the material?
I had to take. I took costume design.
I don't get that.
I know the basic stuff.
Put a knot at the end.
Really?
You tie a knot and then cut
so
it
that it doesn't go through.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Oh yeah. You tie a knot at the end.
That's
thread.
Yeah.
And then you pull it through, and the knot stops it. That's like the beginning of your thread.
I mean, it's the pain in the butt, and it's hard when you have big fingers. I had to sew up my glove, and it was like the smallest tear ever in a spandex. It was hard, but
my Walter Worker gloves, became like completely unraveled on one side, and I had to stitch them up. But they're so small because they're like stretchy that I couldn't sew them without them being on my hands.
Oh no!
So I did it. I did it. I felt like so powerful. I was wearing it, and I was like going very carefully in between my fingers with the needle, and I like sewed it up while I was wearing it.
Having just that rudimentary knowledge of sewing definitely has come in handy in life, and I just did it because I had to for the theater degree that I never finished.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I never took that class.
It was nice
because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to finish.
And I kind of some of the more complicated stuff. I was like, why am I learning this? I'm never gonna.
Yeah. But like, I mean that, and I feel like there's a makeup class that I also missed.
I never took in the makeup class.
Anything
either.
that made me go like in the back. I did do the stage hand stuff. Like,
yeah, I did pretty much everything except for the physical education requirements. I started taking fencing, and that's when the recession happened.
Fencing's
and I dropped.
cool.
I've been talking about fencing all week long. We went to because we went to go see Thor in La Jolla, and in La Jolla there's a fencing. Well, number one, I was talking about like if it's like an old marriage tradition, like, you gotta like fence someone's grandma. I don't know why we were talking about that, but then we go to La Jolla, and then it's like there's a fencing place, and now I really want to get into fencing.
I mean,
you go to fencing and then go to the movies.
We have a friend.
Time to head back to Grossmont.
Like,
they got
fencing for years.
Although I feel like I'd be terrible. It's such a big target.
But
I got long arms.
I wasn't
as
great
well.
when I took fencing class because there's the people who want to do it. They want more classes, so they basically they have 3 classes all at the same time, and you have all the advanced people, you have all the intermediates, and then you have the beginners. And there's totally a focus on the advanced people with the teacher, and you just kind of feel like, I'm doing this for just like 1 credit. Like, what am I? and then like you're not going to go and buy a bunch of fencing gear for that 1 class. No, so you use the loaner stuff. Right? No, you didn't have to. But the problem with the loaner stuff is like if you're me and you're meek and you're not a pushy shovey kind of thing, like you're gonna get stuck with the 4XL stuff that doesn't fit you. You look like you're playing dress up, and you just look ridiculous, and you can barely move. And
fencing wasn't fun. That was kind of like I took tap for like a week, and that's kind of how I felt. I was like, I don't.
Because you're looking like, oh, Fred Astaire. I'm gonna be Fred Astaire.
I was like, Savion Glover, man, Gregory Hines. And then it just didn't.
Tap is one of the few like musical theater like dance staples that we never learned.
I would love to.
Like it looks cool, but those are like the best.
But you got to be real good at it. Yeah.
We definitely
because I've seen kids do it, and I'm like not impressed.
Yeah. We had to take a lot of like random classes during our summer workshops, and it's not like anything that you don't retain the knowledge really. You just kind of absorb it, and it becomes a part of like your dance knowledge. Like I had to take a flamenco class once, which was really fun, even though I don't remember anything about it. But I never took a tap lesson.
I feel like I just want to buy tap shoes and then like play around with them. And see because like the flippity flappity tippity tappity. I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to do this stuff. Like I just want to like jump around.
Yeah.
I'll make those sounds too.
While you're doing it.
I'm looking for more questions.
Cool, sweet.
Favorite pizza topping?
Mushrooms.
Really? Who are you?
Mushrooms are amazing on pizza.
Just cheese and mushroom and maybe pineapple.
Just cheese and fungus?
Cheese and fungus.
What's yours? Does that sound gross? I mean, pepperoni is the best. You guys don't like pepperoni?
I like pepperoni.
I'll eat it, but it's not like my first choice for
it's
pizza.
The best topping for pizza.
It's like if I eat pepperoni. I feel it's too heavy.
It's why every like that's a staple. It's a staple because it's the best.
How do you guys feel about pineapple?
I like pineapple.
I love it. Yeah.
There's no type of pizza I won't eat, but I think pepperoni is my least favorite pizza.
Really? I like
sausage more.
I always pepperoni's better. If I'm ordering myself a pizza, I will never order pepperoni because I feel like it's a guilty pleasure. But if there's pepperoni pizza presented to me, I will always choose that.
Wait, hold up. Are you telling me that pepperoni makes you feel like all full, but sausage is fine? Like big old chunks of sausage.
This is getting heated.
If I
like a little paper thin.
Pepperonis are so greasy, and that's where that's what makes me feel.
That's why you take a little pepper and dab it on.
I was gonna say I'm the person who takes the napkin and pats the grease off the pizza.
You feel like you're not doing anything.
It's not like I don't understand the flavor of it. It's like bacon. I understand why people like it, but for me, it's just like so much.
I like the fact that you can dip the towel in the grease, like look at it, and still be like, nah, it's cool.
Wait, this is a good one.
I usually have a vegetable pizza if I have a choice now.
A vegetable pizza.
Because then you can feel a little better about eating all that cheese.
Extra cheese is my favorite topping.
I had a pizza with pear on it, and it was really
good.
Yes.
From Luigi's?
No.
Oh, they've got one.
Place
it was in La Jolla.
It was a place in La Jolla.
They've got one called the Frenchie that's got pear, caramelized onions, and gorgonzola cheese.
God. Yeah.
What?
No, that sounds like what we had.
Yeah.
They stole it from
No, it
Luigi's.
was from Lucadia Pizza Company.
Yeah. Where's this one?
Luigi's. There's one in North Park and there's one in Golden Hills.
Okay.
Right
They
next to
it sounds like they make the same type of
karate
pizza.
place.
And the fencing.
And the fencing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did we eat the same pizza as a kid?
we were all in the same pizza parlor.
As a
and we
kid,
didn't
my
even
parents
know.
would always order Pizza Hut because it was the closest thing.
Yeah, my parents
yeah.
would always order, what pizza did you?
I lived in El Cajon.
Wait,
so,
hold up. Did you ever go to Round Table?
Oh yeah, right.
I no, only when I moved to El La Mesa because there's a round table like right around here.
Wait. Did you ever go to Fuddruckers?
Not when as a kid.
No.
But I wanted to go try one of them burgers.
Yeah.
Weird burgers.
It was the
But
best.
no.
You know what we ate a lot
Did you ever
as
go
a
to
kid?
Chuck E. Cheese in Grossmont Center?
Oh, John, of course I went to Chicken E. Cheese Grossmont Center.
Yeah, it's the only one.
You ever go into the ball pit? Oh, well, I remember. Yeah, you had the black pants on.
We
Small
as
world.
far as like fast food takeout goes, like when we were a kid, our family's go-to fast food was Del Taco a lot of the time.
Not Taco Bell.
Yeah, not Taco
Del
Bell.
Taco.
Del Taco.
See, I went
I
to
think
Taco
they-
Bell
Del Taco,
and got
they had
the
those,
Star
like-
Wars when they re-released the Star Wars
yes.
films.
I know.
Oh,
The
that was
only
the best.
time
That
we
was
went
the
to Taco
best.
Bell was to get that stuff,
Yeah.
and it had like the Death Star that would
Yeah.
like spin and like.
Yeah.
explode.
the Yoda with in the cube with Darth Vader. It was
Yes,
like a mirror
yes,
thing.
and the balancing Bespin.
Yeah,
There's
the Cloud City.
There was
Cloud City.
Yeah.
the Millennium Falcon that you would pull a little
Yeah.
cord on it. It would
Yep.
rumble.
We
I'm
all
glad
had
those.
we were all at Taco Bell.
I went to the one near In and Out.
Me too. Oh, the Mission Valley one.
No, the one in El Cajon.
Oh,
Claremont.
The one near the Foster Freeze that Whoopi Goldberg ate at.
Whoopi.
Because they have a picture of it. And she,
Because Whoopi Goldberg used to do theater in San Diego. She used to work in the San Diego rep
Wow.
a lot. Whoopi.
I lived on North 1st Street, which is really close to, kind of like you're going to Santee or Lakeside, but
Yeah.
it's like, it's in a more rural area, but I was close enough that I went to Magnolia Elementary.
Okay.
And like we had horses in our backyard, but it was still, it was zoned for horses, but everywhere else it was just normal.
Yeah, I know
house,
that. I know that area.
And yeah. And like, of course, some neighbors would complain like, oh, your dirt's getting in pool or something stupid. But we had a pool too. And like, well, it doesn't get in our pool, but stuff like that. It was a weird childhood. I don't know.
These are weird horses.
Yeah, we've
and
gone.
stuff.
This is one of the longer podcasts.
An
we've
hour
done,
and a
done
half.
a little longer,
Yeah,
almost an
can't
hour. and a
stop
half.
I mean, we
talking
could
about
wrap it up.
pizza.
Need
Well,
some
it's a
pizza.
Friday, I guess, and I have been sick and haven't exercised.
Are you
in a
gonna get
week.
pizza tonight? That sounds good.
I don't have any
Pizza?
food in my
I
house,
like
so
pizza
I
with,
guess I have
like,
to get something.
The diet cheese on it.
That's
It's
actually really
pretty
good.
I'm not-
It's an
I'm not
acquired
mad at it.
taste, but
So-
it's good.
So yeah, diet cheese is kind of gross on its own, or in like as a grilled cheese, but on pizza I don't mind it.
The Luigi's has a really good vegan
Really?
pizza, or like their
Luigi's.
specialty. I'm all about it, man. I will rep Luigi's
Sponsored.
all day long.
No, but my favorite like store-bought frozen pizza is the Newman's Own roasted vegetable.
That one's
Newman.
good.
It's so tasty.
Paul, what's up with Paul Newman? Like, what?
dead.
How does he? Yeah, but he's got he's
Still
a
making
he's an
pizza.
actor and like a salad dressing dude.
Yeah,
And all
Did he own a-
100%
did he
of the
own a
profits
farm?
go to charity.
Did he own a farm?
I don't know.
Why has no other actor been
It's
like
his legacy.
why
Yeah.
can't I get like I'm running out
And
of actors.
to
I
be
can
fair,
talk about.
almost everything
I
you can
think-
get, like Numinos, are way better than Oreos.
Yeah.
I think, anyways.
I'm just thinking about like all the like I'm trying to think of an actor that's not like in trouble right now, and it's like really difficult. Like, what famous cool actor can?
There was
I
a
can't-
lot. Oh,
Robert De Niro.
were we supposed to
it's
talk
like,
about this
Is
stuff?
Robert? Is
We
Robert?
never
De-
talked about it.
Is Robert De Niro gonna come out with a salad dressing? He's still cool, right?
I always like skirt past like talking about. I don't know. It's not political, but it's like it's so topical that
no, dude. It's like
it's hard to talk about it.
Well, especially when it's something that isn't really debatable. It's not like there is a right or wrong side to be on.
Man.
It's
how do you feel about this? Bad?
Yeah.
Good?
I think it's a good change for Hollywood.
100%.
I mean, this has been going on way too
long.
long.
Not even now there's stuff in like the Olympics and stuff, like the trainers coming out. Like,
good.
So it's not it's great
Finally.
because people will take notice of these stars that they place on pedestals, and then hopefully that can be a catalyst towards.
It's a frustrating situation because you've been hearing about it for so long, and everyone's just been like,
yeah,
and
it's like what?
And the fact that it's just an open secret in Hollywood, like in the industry, none of it's news.
It's wild,
but it's happening in every field of work ever.
Whatever.
So that's
every
like
day it's
just that there's no cameras, there's no newspaper, there's articles. So that's it's a positive change.
About it.
Yeah.
Cool. What a happy note to end on.
No, that's all right. Here, let's end it on Tamed Turtle from Engineer-eteers. What is the best pizza joint in San Diego?
Luigi's?
Luigi's.
There's a few good places.
It all depends on what you like. What kind of pizza?
What do you
Pizza
like?
for different folks because some people like that like real cheesy pizza, like thick pizza.
Yeah.
But like
Not
Luigi's,
me.
Like Felipe's is very thick.
It's
and like
too cheesy
cheesy,
for
like
me.
slap you in the face cheese.
And like, do you want something more artisanal?
So,
Do you want
get
something
some-
expensive or cheap?
Something
Yeah.
thin, break it down.
I think a good balance of taste and price. Something like Mountain Mike's pizza.
Mountain Mike's is
pretty
good.
good, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like
Yeah.
unless they want to sponsor.
What was the place near our house? I don't know if it's still there, but
What?
is it still there?
Extreme pizza?
Oh yeah, there's one kind of near us called Extreme Pizza that we
it's
really like.
good. It's kind of pricey, but it's good.
To be honest, I don't eat pizza that much, so
No, I don't
I'm
either.
not very familiar with the pizza places.
I can't remember the last time I ate pizza.
Luigi's,
Actually,
yeah.
Luigi's.
Brooklyn pizza.
it was probably when we were in a different state and we had to order Papa John's or something. Or
Oh,
something like that.
No, it was that one in Minneapolis.
Oh well, that was the best one ever.
Yeah.
Best pizza. I mean, my favorite pizza
What,
place
Minneapolis?
isn't even in San Diego. It's called Pizza Luce.
Oh yeah, that was a good place.
If we go back.
Like this artichoke dip that
no,
was just
Minneapolis
like,
guys back.
and it had diet cheese pizza.
Like because we did like 2 years back to back in Anna,
the
Minneapolis.
direwolf over here.
And I'm not kidding. The whole year leading up to our Minneapolis show, I was most excited for the spinach artichoke dip at Pizza Luce.
I mean, the show was fun
Sounds
too,
good.
but
The show was fun
Obviously,
too,
it's
but
good as
I
pizza.
was like all year, I was like,
Second to the
I'm
show.
so excited to go back to Anna, Minneapolis because I can get that dip from Pizza Luce.
That sounds so good. Is that the time when Camille ate 2 whole pizzas by
I
herself?
ate
Two
What did I-
whole
two
pizzas?
whole turkey.
How do you hold
legs.
those?
Ate 2. I mean,
along
I
with
don't-
2 whole pizza.
I don't know where it goes.
You just like fold them up.
Yeah, you like a calzone. You roll them up.
Or you like put them like
a
this?
tuaquito. Oh, you sandwich them? Oh,
Tag pizza.
you could get like a meat one and a vegetable one and put them together.
Is it true that folding a pizza New York style, it's not hot dog? You fold it like a hamburger, right? Have you ever
How
heard
do you
that?
how do you fold a hamburger?
No. Like I'm just saying, like
You take
because you know New York pizza slices are like really big.
Yeah.
Like when my mom was visiting a friend there, they said that like people always say to eat your pizza slice New York style by folding it, but it's not folding it like a hot dog, which is
Folding
what
it
most
like a
people
hamburger?
do. You're supposed to fold it over itself like a hamburger.
Like hamburgers.
New
just fold.
Yorkers weigh in.
I'm gonna
Is
put
that
it-
true?
We have a lot of big New York big pizza restaurants. They're not the same restaurant, but they're
all called New York giant pizza.
Yeah, exactly. And every fair's got like some New York giant pizza.
Yeah.
and it's not great pizza, but it's cheap and you get a lot of it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right.
are we gonna end this? Do you want to
pizza.
sing us out?
Should I?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to do the
No,
melody?
Solo?
I'll
Okay.
try and remember my harmony.
Okay. I mean, if it sounds terrible, we'll just redo it and
It'll
I'll cut
sound-
it. No.
it'll sound great.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe.
I
thought you were gonna continue singing it.
If I
I
was
just
doing it,
did
I'd have
that.
to figure out I don't know. I can't
Let's just
go
see
as
how it
low
sounds.
as you.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
That was a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium.
Oh, I was
boy,
going to the
we
melody.
talked about pizza. We had the best toppings because it's pepperoni on the Bennettarium. Hot dog, oyster, Bennettarium, and it's over because we're done.
Okay. Well, the second harmony was good. The first one was
the
like,
third one was really good.
Sorry.
Sometimes you gotta warm up. It's great.
oh, I didn't know which one who was taking what.
All right. Well, I guess the stream was pretty nice today.
I guess we'll find out after. Any complaints?
Kind of
right. Not really.
Post them nowhere because we're not going to read them. Okay.
Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.
My ears hurt.
I want pizza now.
I don't.
You die of
I
pizza.
have grilled cheese.
Bye.
Give me some cheese.